Hello and welcome. This is Angie with thecountrychiccottage.net. So today we're going to use oven baked clay and we're going to make some earrings. A little bit different than the normal projects we do, but still super fun and crafty. This is actually really easy and a great way to make gifts. If you have gifts that you still need to make for the holidays or a gift for any time of the year, clay earrings are a great option. So let's take a look at the supplies we're going to need and get started on our project. The supplies you're going to need are as follows. So you'll need oven baked clay. I have a huge wide variety. You don't need this much variety, just whatever colors you're going to use. You'll need some cutters. I have a wide variety of cutters, small, large, whatever. You'll just need the type of the shape of earring you want. I think this project mat is really required. So this can go in the oven. It's non-stick, like your clay won't stick to it. I would highly recommend the mat as well as a beginner tool set. So this black set comes in a really nice set, perfect for making clay earrings. These two pieces I got from like a smaller set, but definitely a roller and a cutter would be my two top things that you would need. Now we are going to use this fancier roller that has a handle and you can roll your clay through, and this gets super consistent results. It is not required to make earrings, but I did want to go over some of the more advanced tools in case you're going to make them to sell or that type of thing. And then to finish off our earrings, we'll need a couple pair of jewelry pliers, some like earring hooks, jump rings, flat earring backs if you're going to make flat earrings, jewelry glue if you're going to use that, just whatever you need to finish the earrings off, you will need that as well. So let's get started actually playing with some clay. So we're going to do 3 different methods. The first is a marbling. So you can do as many or as few colors as you would like, and the amounts do not matter. So I'm just going to use a little of all of them, a little more of one than the other, and maybe just a touch of the purple. So there we have 4 colors, and we might need a little bit of a lighter color. Lighten this up a little bit. So now we have 5 colors, right? And we want to combine those together. So my first tip for working with clay is to hold it in your hand for a few minutes, maybe 30 seconds. And the heat from your hands will help to loosen that clay up and make it easier to work with. So I just kind of like to cup it in my hands, squeeze it a little bit, and you'll feel it getting softer as you do that. And then I'm going to show you my tricks for marbling. So what we're going to do is we're going to flatten this out. So all the colors are just kind of jumbled together, right? So we're just going to flatten that out. And we are going to use something like this cutter. We're just going to cut it into strips. We're going to stack those strips up. So now you can start seeing some variation within our project, and then we're going to make that stack into a ball. And we're going to repeat that same thing at least one more time. Now we may need more than that, but I find that at least twice. So I'm going to flatten it out, and you can get it as flat as you want it during this step. And then we're going to cut it. And the strips you can cut wide, you can cut skinny, and that will also affect how much marbling you get. And then the other thing, when you stack it up, instead of just stacking it up, just going down the line, you can take some of these and flip them over, and you'll get a completely different look to your marbling. So I like to flip over every once in a while, and then we can move these bottom pieces to the top. And then again, we will make that into a ball. This time when we roll it out, hopefully we will have that marbled look that we want. Now when we roll it out this time, hopefully, I mean, it's looking really good. So hopefully it will be for our earrings. So we want it to be a fairly consistent thickness. So we can use something like this roller roll it out, try to get it as flat as possible. But I did want to show you this roller here. It has a handle. You just turn the handle and run your piece through the rollers, and what will come out is a perfectly consistent piece of clay. And you can actually adjust the thickness with this knob. So I really love this, especially if you're going to make quite a few earrings. So now we can see that our marbling looks really good. And we can actually pick which side we like best. And then we'll pick a couple of cutters. So I'm going to do an earring, something like this. And you use them just like cookie cutters. Press that out with your hands. And then I want to cut the centers out of this. So I'm just going to add this. Maybe something like that. And we can actually use these pieces I'm cutting out as well. If you just want to use something flat, like the end of this works well to sort of get that piece out. And we can use those as well, or we can roll them back up. And I'm going to show you how to use like every single bit of this clay. So there's our earring pieces. And what I like to do is line them up and then use something like this cutter to get it straight across. And now we have two bottom earring pieces. And we need pieces for the top up here. We can actually use these pieces that we cut off. We could make a different shape. So let's just do a circle cutter. And we'll cut a couple circles. For those tops. So now there's one set of earrings, and what we want to do is use something like this pick, which is just a straight pick, and put our holes through the clay now before we bake it. So we're going to put it through there, and we can shape on this. If you see any imperfections, you can kind of try to get those out, get them as flat as possible, and these are ready to bake. Now this is oven bake clay. So it is fine just at room temperature. It won't harden. So these packages were open, if you might have noticed at the beginning. They will not harden in the air. So they are fine, and I could leave my project out like this for as long as I wanted. But as soon as I bake it, that makes the design permanent, and you won't be able to form it into a new shape any longer. And you do want to bake it according to the directions on your package for whatever brand of clay you're using. I like Sculpey clay, and I'll link to everything I used in the description below. So we are just going to make a couple more earrings with this marbled, and what I wanted to show you is that there are even small cutters, so little butterflies and stars and things like that, and you can use those on the little small areas to use every bit of the clay, and then you could put a post on the back of these and have post earrings as well. So I'm going to finish a few more earrings, and then we'll take a look at another technique. Okay, I was actually able to make all of these earrings with just that one sheet of clay, and I actually have a little bit more, but I'm going to stop. So small ones like this, like I cut with this butterfly cutter, you would just put a post on the back. And then these are sets, so they'll be dangly earrings. So I'm going to set all these to the side, and we're just going to use the rest of this mat because we're actually going to bake these right on the mat. And what I wanted to talk about was cleanup. So any little pieces of clay that are on your mat will be on your next set of earrings. So you might want to like take your little scrap piece and rub it on the mat, just picking up any scrap pieces, and then go to the sink and just kind of scrub your hands, and that way they are clean and ready to work with our next technique. All right, so the next technique again is kind of like a messy technique, doesn't require a ton of skill. There are definitely some projects with clay that require quite a bit of skill, but a lot of them are just like playing with Play-Doh, which I love. Okay, so I'm going to pick some colors for our next project. All right, so I've started by rolling out just a piece of base color. So this is just a pale purple, and I'm going to add these other colors in there. Now, I want a lighter pink than this, and I don't have it. So I'm gonna take white and pink, and I'm gonna mix those together first before I do my technique. So we're just gonna make a light pink with these two just by kind of kneading them together. All right, so now I have a paler pink to work with, and then we'll get a little bit of this yellow and a little bit of a darker purple. So what we want to do is we'll just flatten this pink out a little. And we're just going to cut this into some strips. And then we just kind of want to randomly cut it into shapes, like geometric shapes. And then we'll just add some of those geometric shapes just right on top of our clay, and we're just going to kind of press them into place. And you can do small ones as well as large ones. So that looks pretty good. And then we'll repeat that with just a piece of yellow. And you can add as much or as little of this as you want. And I'm making these pretty small. And I'm even gonna add like some super small pieces of this yellow. And then we'll do an even smaller piece of this purple. We'll add those randomly around. And now that we have that, you can either run it through that same machine as we did last time, or you can just go over it with your roller, either way. So I just ran my piece through my machine a few times, and then you can see you get sort of this effect where the pieces are sort of embedded into the clay. And now we can cut some earrings. So we'll change it up and we'll do some larger, maybe teardrop shapes. And what you can do is kind of look through the cutter and see what you're going to get when you cut, and arrange it so that you get sort of a piece of all the colors. And then we'll need some toppers for these earrings as well. And now I'm going to do this long cutter, and I'm going to cut that in half. So we'll just peel this away. And we have a couple of earring pieces. And then we'll just take this, cut this piece in half. And now we have two toppers. And if you didn't get it perfect, just go back and try again, not a big deal. And again, we'll use the pick to make holes on these, and I will keep making earrings out of this piece, and then I can roll it together and it'll get a marbled look like these first set of earrings, and I can make some marbled earrings as well out of the scraps. So no throwing anything away, just keep reusing and making more earring designs. Okay, and then I wanted to note things like this extra yellow that I pulled off. I can just put that back with the original package and I can just use it later. But this pink, I actually mixed it with white, so I could keep it, but I could also just mix it in with my scraps from making these earrings. And I'll just do that same marbling technique, and we'll make a marbled look, and we'll just start adding that and cutting it with some cutters and make some cute marbled earrings with these clay colors. All right, and here are all the earrings I was able to make with that one mix of clay. And now let's do a different technique. So I have 3 colors for this one, and you want about equal of all of those. And we are going to do this one manual. So there is a tool, a clay tool, I don't actually have it, that makes like long strings, but we can do that right here by ourselves. So I'm warming the clay up, getting it into a flat shape, and then we're making snakes. So just like maybe you made snakes with Play-Doh when you were little, same thing. And we just want to make all 3 approximately the same size around. So I'll just do this to all 3 colors, make sure they're about the same diameter all the way down, and that all 3 are about the same size. And then we'll look at turning these into cute little rainbow earrings. All right, so here are our 3 snakes, and we are just going to kind of cut those in half. And I did put the longest one on top, so the pink turned out a little longer because it will need to go around a little bit further. And we're going to use one of our cookie cutter shapes. We're just going to place that in the middle and form our snakes around that shape, making a little rainbow. Now you want to kind of press those together a little bit. Don't go overboard. Pull out your cookie cutter and repeat for a second earring. All right, now that we have 2 earring shapes, we'll put those together. I'm going to make sure they're sort of even at the top. Double check and make sure they both held their shape. And then we can use our slicer to slice them at exactly the same length. You can pick the length of the earring you want. We'll just slice those down and remove that part. So now we have the bottom of 2 rainbow earrings. And with these pieces, I'm going to make tops. So I'm going to make those marbled, just like the first procedure. So I'm going to use the same procedure, and then you can cut them with your cookie cutters into whatever shape that you like. And once you have a marbled look, we'll just cut out our tops with a cookie cutter. And then we'll need to put holes in both these pieces. So for the rainbows themselves, I like to put it kind of towards the bottom of that first one. Poke it all the way through. And then you may have to kind of reshape your rainbow. And so I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to use up the rest of that clay, this clay right here, to make some more earrings, and then we'll talk about baking everything. And here are all of the earrings ready for the oven. Now we'll want to bake according to the package directions, and then we'll take a look at how to put these together into earrings. But super simple techniques for making earrings out of clay. So this is an entirely different set of earrings. Got carried away making them, and these have already been baked, however. So I'm just going to put together one earring just to illustrate how to do it. So we'll just use these as an example. They're all the same except the post, you would just glue the post on the back. But for these, you would need a jump ring for each earring as well as a post to glue on the back. And my favorite jewelry glue is Beacon Gem Tack. So we'll just open our jump ring, add both earring pieces. And once both those are on there, we'll just close that jump ring back. And then you'll have your 2 earring pieces together, 2 large, and then add this small one in between the 2. So you have 2 jump rings. You can close both those up. So tons of options, and you can kind of play with it, see which way you like it. And it may be different for each earring. Maybe one type of earring looks good with 1, and then one needs 3. So just depending on what you want to do. So there's 3 jump rings on that one. And then like I said, you would just glue the post to the back using Gym Tech, allow your glue to dry, and you have some clay earrings. So hopefully that helped. So be sure to use the 3 methods we talked about to make yourself some clay earrings. Whether you make our little rainbow guys, whether you make this like tiled looking piece, or, gotta pick my favorite, whether you do the marbled look. The marbled is definitely my favorite technique. I use it for all sorts of things when I'm working with clay, because it kind of like, you just cannot fail, right? So you just marble it until you like it and start cutting it out. So if you loved playing with Play-Doh as a kid, clay is definitely a great option for crafting as an adult. I'm going to leave links to all of the supplies below. So head there, start shopping around, getting those clay supplies. You can start really simple with just like some clay and a basic tool set. Even if you maybe have some kitchen tools, I would not recommend, however, using the same tools in your kitchen as you do for your clay. So I would have separate tools for the clay. So if you have some extra kitchen tools that you could make craft only, that would definitely be an option. I'm also going to drop below and put a link to an oven, small like little toaster oven that you can use in your craft room. So I personally like that because I can make, say, a small set of earrings, pop them in that little toaster oven to bake and work on my next set. Then my set that's in the oven is done. I can pop a new set in, that type of thing. And so I just like having that dedicated craft oven in my craft room. I use it for sublimation, baking clay, that type of thing. And I got one that was super inexpensive on Amazon. I'll try to find the exact one I got or a similar option, but I'm talking like less than $40 is what I paid. So I'll definitely drop that below as well. So if you have any questions about anything we've covered, please ask those in the comment section below. If you liked this video, if you learned something new, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have crafty videos every week and you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.